Hey everybody, welcome to World Sports Daily. I'm Jim Williams, along with the man, the legend, the prodigal, Sean himself, Sean Miller. Sean, happy Thursday to you, my friend.
Yeah, definitely, and always a good day. Get a chance to watch Manchester United play. It's going to be, watching. I'm not sure if we can live stream the game, but this is almost like a live watch along party. If you're,
You know what? We can do that. Technically, we are allowed to do a live watch along.
Yeah.
Untechnically, we're not allowed to stream it at the same time.
Yes.
But if everybody would tune their sets to whatever the game, we are allowed to comment on the game as it goes. So
that?
Watch parties are actually something we should be doing in the future.
Yeah.
So we could do that if you wanted to during World Cup. So that might be something to do.
I think.
And we could promote it so that people know that, hey, we're having a watch party. And if you want to join, come on over. And we can take comments and all kinds of stuff. So absolutely, that's something we can do. So we did that during March Madness. We had some watch parties, and I did it for Sling, and we had a lot of fun and drew a big crowd for the March Madness. We did it again during the NHL hockey playoffs, and we had a lot of fun. So it's certainly something we can do for. I think a ton of soccer fans would love to come on over and watch and talk about what's going on the game while they're playing. So we could promote that ahead of time. Watch party right here. So there you go.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun. All right. Well, tonight is Thursday night football. And of course, that is on Prime Video. It's Carolina versus Atlanta. Now, I don't know if you remember the first time these two teams played this year. But it was a game that, and I'm going to ask your opinion on this. Carolina, during the week, had their kicker injured, okay? So they went and did the usual, audition time and brought in 5 guys and picked one of them, and that was their kicker. He missed 4 attempts in the game, in the actual game, including a field goal that would have won for Carolina in regulation. They went into overtime, and he missed another field goal, which would have won the game for them. And Carolina loses to Atlanta because they have a guy who can kick a field. My question to you, and this is a question I have asked numerous coaches before: why, in heaven's name, on your practice squad, do you not have a kicker? And I don't know anybody on their practice squad who has a second kicker.
Nope. They always want to, you got linebackers and wide receivers and all these other extra players. But, anytime there's a crisis with a kicker, you're always scrambling around. You're calling somebody to come out of their house and, wherever they are, Kansas, to get on a plane to get to, wherever it is the game is. And it's always a struggle.
It's such an important phase of the game. You have a third quarterback. You have, key players. Why you don't have a secondary kicker and putting that person on your practice squad? Now, I know I've had coaches tell me, well, linebackers are important too. We're always getting hurt linebackers. We got offensive and defensive linemen. We need those guys. I get all that. All right. Understood. But the one person who could win you a game is not that tackle, is not that linebacker. It's going to be that kicker. And I could not for the life of me ever understand what the problem was, is why they wouldn't do it. But it is what it is. So there you go. Hopefully tonight, this is, everybody's under 500 in that division. If Atlanta wins tonight, they will pull even to 5-5. If Carolina wins tonight, then chaos continues.
And it's interesting because there's going to be the hurricane is coming up the coast here, so this game is going to be affected by all kinds of rain, and it's not it's not too much wind. I think they said maybe 10 or 12 mile-an-hour winds. So not much more than, obviously there'll be some gusts, but I think it's just going to be the rain. And this game was such a high scoring one last time
Right.
that you wonder how much the rain is going to affect it. And it maybe could be one of these 12-9 slop fests in the mud and the rain, which are just as sometimes as entertaining as high scoring games.
Well, you've got Marcus Mariota has thrown the ball for Atlanta in 9 games. He's thrown it 201 times. In that 201 times he's thrown the ball, 105 he's thrown it to 2 receivers. So, again, I'm not a defensive expert, but if I lock down Kyle Pitts and Jimmy Young, I think I'm good. I think we're okay there. Atlanta's team is obviously, their defense is better than their offense. Carolina, I'm not sure which is better. I mean, they're kind of a hot mess, but they still won 4 games. So, it is, I'm sorry, 3 games. So they didn't just luck into that. And they won a couple of them without Christian McCaffrey after the trade. So they've done okay. Any thoughts on what's the line for this game tonight? Any idea on what that is?
Yeah, it's moving a little bit here. When you look
Where's
at
the money going?
It's weird because I think everybody's betting the Falcons on the game, but the line has gone down to -2.5. And Falcons are favored in Carolina. And the over-under now is down to 41. So I think that's dropping, as well as the barometer is dropping as the storm comes up the coast. So I think people are starting to figure out maybe this is going to be like kind of a slop fest, low scoring game. But, sometimes in the rain, teams can move the ball. So that's interesting.
Rain is not as big a thing as wind.
And we just saw that, this game was only 10 days ago. I mean, it's weird. You don't always get these games where teams play, this close together. But this was just 10 days ago. So we saw a 37-33 game. Is it going to just be that much different in 10 days? Who knows?
Well, I will say this. Atlanta's not good outside the dome. And we see that a lot. We see that there are dome teams, and we see that there are teams that don't play well outside the dome. And the Falcons don't play well outside the dome. I would make Marcus Mariota. I'd make Marcus Mariota pass to beat me.
Yes,
that'd be my game plan. I would go zero defense the whole time. I would blitz him. I would rush him. I would drive him nuts.
I think Terrell Patterson is back as well. So that could, obviously could be big, in the rain and in the mud there.
You need to be able to run, and he would help.
Yes.
It would be definitely a tough one from that standpoint. Now, I don't know if we have our college basketball ratings. We'll move over to college hoops here for a second. And your North Carolina team is right there in the number 2 slot, with Gonzaga holding down the number 1 slot. We got Houston at number 3, Kentucky at number 4. The Blue Devils have Duke at 5, Arkansas at 6, Baylor 7, Kansas 8, Tennessee 9, UCLA at the 10 spot, Creighton at the 11 spot, Texas at the 12 spot, Indiana at 13, Auburn at 14, TCU at 15. That's kind of a surprise to me. Virginia 16, Arizona 17, Nova, there you go, down the street, 18, A&M 19, Michigan 20, San Diego State at 21, Oregon at 22, Bama at 23, Purdue 24, Dayton in the 25 slot, and they had just enough points to tie Dayton. Ohio State is in that 25 spot with Dayton. So there's your top 25 in college basketball. And that brings us to some college basketball games tonight that include some of those teams that we talked about. And let's start off with Creighton in North Dakota. These are all the teams that are ranked are all playing at home. So to give you an idea, so these are not tournament games being played on neutral courts or any of that. It's Creighton playing at home against North Dakota. That shouldn't be a tough game for Creighton.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, you saw some of these games the other day on opening night, and it was a lot of blowouts for the ranked teams. There was a couple games. I think TCU won only by 1 point. Creighton and North Carolina struggled a little bit. I mean, the North Carolina game was never really close, but they didn't cover. But a lot of the other games were really just kind of blowouts. So I think we're going to, with some of these teams, some of the ranked teams, I think you're going to kind of see the same thing tonight.
I watched UCLA play the other night, and that game was close early, but then second half, as usually is what happens, things go. There's Keen Brown. Hello, Keen.
Yeah, he's a big plays for Pennington Soccer. He's checking in here. Big fan of it.
Good to have you with us. We will be talking soccer in a little while. We're just trying to get some college basketball off the table. Creighton against North Dakota. We got Texas staying in the state. They are hosting Houston Baptist, and as we jokingly said earlier, if this were a baseball game, then that might be close, but it's not going to be close. It's a basketball game. There's a tough situation. Texas, he's tuning in. We appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it. Tell your friends, bring them all with you. You might want to mention to Keen about the idea of some watch parties, which we might be able to do coming up here, which might be some fun. So that's coming down the line, Keen. We're gonna give you enough soccer. We're gonna let the prodigal Sean make sure gives you all the soccer information that you need. Oh, sorry about that.
Joe is saying I'm the biggest Pennington fan. Look, the fan. We Capital Sports. We show Pennington games. We're big Pennington supporters, and But I'm a fan of all the games. Robbinsville's in the state final over here as well. So we had that game last night. So live stream the Robbinsville game.
What are some of the games coming up that you want to make sure people tune in to watch?
For soccer this weekend?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Time to shamelessly promote.
Joe, he said he's tuning in from a science lab in Antarctica. That's where he's going. This weekend is interesting because Keen's dad is a big Chelsea fan, and Chelsea has to play. Chelsea's got to play Newcastle, who's ahead of them in the table. So that's the big game on Saturday, I think. And Chelsea's actually a big underdog in that game. Newcastle is favored, but still at plus 133 there. Manchester City plays Brentford in the early game, Bournemouth, Everton, Liverpool, Southampton. Wolves play Arsenal in the late game. This is one of the weekends where there's multiple 4 windows of games, so it'll be pretty good. Now, obviously, Manchester United's the last game before the World Cup break. There's a big game in Germany as well this week. Union Berlin hosts Freiburg on Sunday, and that is a second and third place behind Bayern Munich. So another big game there.
What are some of the games that you'll be streaming on Capital Sports this weekend?
I don't know what we're going to be. The high school sports is basically there's only the one game this weekend for the state finals. The New Jersey State finals are this weekend, so we may. You got all the Pennington kids here. We may end up streaming the Powder Puff football game if they move it from Friday night. We'll see. It's supposed to be Friday night, but there's going to be the hurricane. But we may end up streaming the Powder Puff game, which is going to be the girls playing the football and the boys on the sideline cheering. So Yeah, it's interesting.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yep.
So something to look forward to. Joe, you're in a lab in Antarctica. What's some of the what can you tune in over there? You watch on computer? What are you watching there, buddy?
Yeah, Joe, please tell us what you can get at your lab there. What you know, Keen Brown talking about the powder up. Yeah, listen, I've talked to Tyler to get that game on there. We're going to stream it, but if you're playing in the monsoon on Friday night, you guys got to move that to Saturday so you play in a decent weather. But
right, you don't want people to. We watch Capital Sports Network. That's a good one.
Yeah, yep, and yeah,
we love to go.
It's interesting because some of these Keen and Aiden Pedalito, his brother is trying to do some streaming and stuff. So listen, if you're anyone watching here wants to come on, yeah, they might move it to Sunday. If you guys want a show,
Yeah.
Keen, if you guys want a show on Capital Sports, you just get in contact with us. We're gonna have some available slots here. You could talk about any kind of soccer or whatever you want. I know you guys are big soccer fans, so
right. We want to expand the network, and we're going to do that. And it's going to be. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with the expansion. And so, yeah, by all means, we're welcoming you all not only to be fans, but to share the network and to join us. Alex is he'll let us know. Great thanks to Sean. So we're gonna have some fun with what's going on here at the network, and we're gonna do some watch parties, and we're gonna bring on some people. And if you've got something you want to talk about that promote, let us know.
Yeah, next week I know I've talked to Paul Hurst, who's a huge, he writes for the Times in England. He covers the Manchester teams, so he's gonna come on and give us a little bit of a World Cup preview here for England, and obviously England playing USA on Black Friday here at 2:00. So that's going to be the game. We'll be having a little party at Conti's Tavern in Princeton. So
it might be a good idea to do the show from
yeah, I think we're going to be able to my buddy Salvi Baldino's family owns it, so we might be able to get Salvi on there. They're having their reunion at Princeton. They have the soccer game, and then it's in the morning, and then everybody's going to go over there to Conti's to watch. And Conti's kind of blew up. I mean, Conti's has always been pretty big, but once the Barstool went there, the Portnoy did the pizza episode from there, and now you can't get in there at all. So very good pizza.
Do they? You're talking about the game. Where do they? Does the Ivy stream their games? Their soccer?
I'm not sure. We actually, I'm actually might be going there. Keen, we're having the party there on for the USA England, and so make sure you tell your dad and everybody else. Yeah, I think so. We're going to the game because one of the kids from Pennington Stas Kornisowski plays for Penn. He's leading the league in scoring, so they're playing Princeton this weekend. So I'll have to find out. That would be interesting because obviously
we can get them on the
my school Columbia, and obviously Ivy League soccer is always really really high up there. Just probably underneath the ACC, but that's pretty good.
Quality's good. I had a cousin who played at Northwestern, and he was the field goal kicker on the football team and the goalkeeper on the soccer team. And there were 4 times during the course of 2 years that he actually played the football game, and then ran across campus to to play soccer in the nightcap. So that was, it happens. You get some of these guys who can play soccer and play football at the same time. Are there any other?
Joe wants to know if there's any other streams. I said, look, maybe we got to have Joe on having a stream from Antarctica. They're talking to, get some of the penguins on or something out there.
Right. We can do weather from Antarctica. No, there's I think some of the fun streams that streams that I would recommend. It depends. I mean, if you're I give the Mountain West a lot of credit. They do a nice job of streaming. You just download the app. You can watch a lot of their games for free on the Mountain West network. They do a good job. I'm trying to think who else you can watch for free. Sunbelt does that for free if so they're out there. I'll put together a list for you, but I would strongly. Sean and I talked about the other day about Mountain West basketball, which is good. And I would definitely check out the Mountain. The times obviously are a little, wonky because, you're talking about the Mountain time zone. But if you're cool with the Mountain and Pacific time zones, then they've got some good basketball. And they've got good sports in general. And all of it's streamed on their network for free. So you can check that out.
I think, the thing with the streaming now is that, and a lot of these guys I recognize here, obviously Keen and, they play soccer and football in the area, but, to have these games streamed, high school games and college games. I mean, just think about like when I was in school in 92 and high school and then 96. I mean, you couldn't even have fathomed something like this. I know you were like you were in TV for so long. I mean, to be able to have like a portable TV like this in your hand and to be able to basically watch anything in the world that's going on at this point is just amazing. I mean, shows and podcasts and all kinds of stuff.
Well, that was back in the day. You had to have a remote truck and you had to have satellite to uplink to get it out there. Now, what the Big Ten network and the Pac-12 network, what they do, which is really amazing, everything is fiber optic now, so you don't need the satellite, situations. All of the networks, SEC network, ACC network, Pac-12 network, Big Ten network, everybody has a base station, so to speak, right? So that's a studio. In the studios and the control rooms at the Big Ten and the Pac-12 and ACC, they can do up to 800 events, okay, with keeping the announcers in Charlotte for the ACC, in Charlotte for the SEC, in San Francisco for the Pac, and in Chicago for the Big Ten. I did Big Ten football, basketball for 2 years, the Big Ten game of the week, and we had to have our remote truck and satellite dish and all that stuff out there. They don't need that. You can pop up a couple of cameras, boom, you're ready to rock and roll. And that's what the Big Ten network, the Pac-12 network, SEC network, ACC network, that's what they do now. They do have trucks that come in from time to time for the big events, but for the most part, soccer, all that other stuff, they just plug in the cameras. They've already put all the stuff in there, and the announcers are back in Chicago or wherever calling the game, and that's how they can do it. As you said, I mean, the change was the fiber optic aspect of it.
Yes,
and the 5G now, so you can get via yourself, because sometimes you have to use phone to get your signal out, as opposed to using satellite dish. And back in the day, using satellite was extremely expensive. Fiber optic is not as expensive. Obviously, the cell phone situation is not as difficult. Now, what that does do is it's not necessarily always, it can get a little wonky there. It can get, you can get issues and all kinds of stuff. But we actually did things back in the day on dial-up. and that was incredibly slow. But
Yeah.
now, you can get. Look, I mean, we all sit back and watch stuff that's streamed every day right here on YouTube, and it's the quality's fine.
Yeah, the cameras. I mean, obviously the cameras now on these iPhones and these
Mm-hmm.
the Samsungs and the
Right.
computers and the iPads are just I mean they're just
Well,
so
they're
amazing.
1080 HD. So
Yep.
the only issue that you have there is that you don't have a zoom lens, and that becomes a problem. Other
Yeah.
than that, that's the only thing you have to worry about.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
and
Exactly. When you're streaming, when I stream my soccer games, everybody's like, "Oh, zoom in, zoom in." I'm like, I can't, but be happy you get to watch a game that's live.
well, I can tell you that when we did NASL soccer back in the day, we used to have, we only covered it with 4 cameras. I mean, that was it. And back in the day, early days, NASL, when the ball would go out of touch, right, they would take a commercial. Now, some places would give you, the minute so you could do your commercial time. Others, I mean, you come back and you might have missed the goal. So the only goal of a 1-0 game, you'd have to show on replay, because when you were in commercial, it was shot. But it was amazing. I do remember a game that we did in San Jose, Tampa Bay Rowdies versus San Jose Earthquake, where we ran out of satellite time. So what happened was we told the people at home, look, can you imagine watching? We're now in extra time, and we're like, can you imagine watching and telling a crowd, I'm sorry, but we'll be signing off now. We either won or we lost. We will record it and show you tomorrow how the game ended. I mean, people would be pissed off to the end, but that was the old days. Now today, you can take your iPhone or my Samsung, pop it up, prop it, and watch. Use it for a game stream without any hiccup for as long as you don't stream it.
Yeah,
So,
it's
times
just amazing how this stuff works now, and you think about it, and what's it going to be like in 10 years? And that's the
well,
thing.
the 5G is also a game breaker.
Yeah.
I mean, because that also helps, because the speed of the 5G moves things along as well. So Conti's, everybody loves Conti's, huh? So
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good pizza.
So what's okay, guys? What's your favorite pizza? I see everybody has a pizza. Anybody have a favorite toppings? Favorite types? What's Conti's known for? Their pizza? Do they have a specialty?
Yeah, the Salvi special is, what is it? It's well done light cheese, sausage, garlic.
Come on, guys. Charles,
pepperoni.
Joe, Keen, give us tell us what you got.
Yeah,
you go to Conti's. What do you buy?
It's very good. I guess the one guy might be out on the ice flow here.
Yeah,
might be.
He's eating a lot of smoked salmon. If you're out on the ice, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's all good stuff. So we talked about the college basketball and the college the ratings the rankings. It's early, but tomorrow Gonzaga plays, and that should be a lot of fun. Gonzaga seems to play.
It's on an aircraft. That's the game that they're playing on the deck of an aircraft carrier. They're USS Abraham Lincoln in San Diego.
Yes. A couple of years ago, we had a situation where I don't know if you remember this. They played it in Jacksonville. at on the aircraft carrier, and it started to rain.
Yes.
So they had to stop the basketball game because of weather on the courts down there. But yeah, in San Diego, there's a pretty good chance there's not going to have any rain.
I know
So
it rained out in California the other day for the first time in I forget how long it was. They said I think it only rains 1 or 2 days a year where in Malibu or something like this, and it rained for the first time in maybe 340 days or something like
yeah,
that.
they had a San Diego during the World Series, or I'm sorry, during the playoffs, had a game which was delayed by rain.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it rains in Southern California, and usually it rains in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So, that's why you don't get many baseball games that are washed out by that point. So there's that, which is kind of an interesting thing. So so now you're talking about the Ivy League. Who are some of the teams in the Ivy college teams that we should be watching as soccer continues now at this point?
Yeah, I think they have the let me just look at this here. If the bracket is set to come out. Let's see. I think the bracket's set to come out soon here. Let me get the college rankings. I know the ACC teams are right now. Actually, Washington leads at number one.
Yeah, with Washington, Kentucky is number two.
Cornell right now is leading it. Penn is right there. That are 11-2-2. Penn plays Princeton this weekend. That's the kind of the game. That's one of the games I'll be going to. But Cornell, 12-3-1. Big game for Penn though at Princeton. But the Ivies and the ACC schools. I mean, it's always every year. It's really competitive. I know Columbia's a little bit down. They were very good when I was there, and for years.
Penn's at 23 at this in the top 25.
Yeah, and very good team. We'll see them on Saturday Ivy League soccer.
And you've got, let's see, we got the University of Washington is number one, Kentucky number two, Syracuse number three, Duke 4, Stanford 5, Maryland 6, Carolina Greensboro 7, Vermont 8, Denver 9, Marshall. Marshall and Denver are tied at 9. 11 is Virginia. Lipscomb is at 12. Southern Methodist at 13. Georgetown at 14. Akron at 15. Ohio State University at 16. Cornell 16. Tie there. Clemson at 18. Portland at 18. Tie there. Wake Forest and St. Louis tied at 20. 22 is New Hampshire. Penn is at 23, tied with Missouri State, and Florida International rounds out the top 25 with votes going to Tulsa, Elon, Pitt, Indiana, which used to be a power back in the day.
Yes.
Dayton, UCLA, also a power back in the day. Oregon State, Louisville, Roberts, and Santa Barbara, rounding out your
Penn. Penn wins the league. Stas Korzanowski, who played with a lot of these kids here at Pennington, right now with 10 goals, and Penn wins the league. If they win this weekend, they win the league and outright. And that game will be at Princeton this weekend. So massive game there, 4:00 at Princeton. So going to be pretty big.
And it's really kind of it's been good to see that the Ivies and some of these other schools, smaller schools, it's kind of like lacrosse, right? Where you start to see smaller schools that are in the that get to take on the bigger universities that everybody thinks of as the name brands. But when it comes to things like soccer and lacrosse and other things, you begin to see the smaller schools have just as big a presence, which I think is kind of fun, because then you're playing with the big boys.
Yeah.
And women. So, because there's always some great women's soccer teams as well.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
And that's another place where the Ivies usually do well. That, and in a vicious sport, which is field hockey. I mean, geez, there's no way on the planet that I could survive a field hockey. I mean, my shins, everything. There wouldn't be any skin left on my body from those. Those games are pretty rough. It's
I know. I think I know North Carolina is good in that.
Yeah.
They won the title last year, and they're going to go into the tournament here. They're 17-0,
Wow.
and they just absolutely. Riley Heck, I believe, is their from New Jersey. They got some big time players from Jersey, ACC, and then it's 4 Big Ten schools right after that. So, and then you speak about Ivy League, Princeton right there as well, Harvard in the top 12 too. So yeah, Cornell in the top. Field hockey is an interesting sport. My dad used to referee it for years.
How do you referee field hockey? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I don't think anybody knows the rules, so you can just do what you want. So like everybody just he just makes
just be careful not to hurt someone. Yeah.
I mean he would just call something, and people would be like, "Oh, you missed a call," and he'd be like, "Well, what's the right call?" And they would be like, "Oh,
we'll make it up."
It's like, well, then how are you complaining? So it's like, it's a little,
Well, the Brown and Harvard are going to be going to the NCAA women's college soccer playoffs in the team situation, and just because that's it's gonna be a pretty good situation. They're going to be headed to the NCAA tournament. So there you go. And it's that tournament starts in about a week or so.
Yeah, they're all starting pretty soon here. The fall sports for other than football, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And one of the good things about with football in that regard, when you're a non-FBS school, is that there actually is a champion, and that's that's where North Dakota State usually ends up being the top dog in that one. They've won it 3 years in a row. There was some talk that they would follow James Madison's lead and jump up to D1, but I think they were smart enough to say, you know what, I'd rather win 7 championships out of the last 10. They'd rather be the Alabama of D, of second. We used to call it D2, sports, but that's what they got. So there you go. We were just talking about streaming. I would recommend also the Sunshine State Conference. That's all D2 schools in the state of Florida, Florida Southern, Tampa U, Eckerd College, St. Leo, Florida Southern. All those schools are powerhouses in pretty much all sports. They're very good in soccer as well. So I would.
Rollins in that?
Rollins, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Mike, Mad Dog. That's my guy, Mad Dog. That's where he went to play tennis there.
Stetson is also in there, and that's where Jacob deGrom and Corey Kluger play.
Yeah, I feel like we have one of Drew Wires is down there playing baseball. He's a freshman there now.
A ton of kids from your area, from the Pennsylvania, Jersey, New York area, zoom directly down there, and that's where they play sports. A lot of kids represent the Philly and Jersey and and New York, Jersey area down in University of Tampa and that entire Sunshine State conference. So it's not uncommon to see a lot of New York and Jersey license plates and Pennsylvania license plates showing up for baseball games and basketball games and soccer games down there.
Yeah,
they do a lot of recruiting. So
yeah, that's right. Yep.
Any score updates on what's going on?
I know score 0-0. Not much going on here. We'll see. Hopefully, second half the good thing is they're not trailing after 10 minutes like they were. So that's always
there you go. Have you put together an ownership group on your own to purchase the Manchester United or the small portion that the Glazers might be putting out there?
If we would have won the Powerball, I would have been in it. But somebody in California won, so I don't know.
Very interesting.
Out there.
Very interesting story about the guy. We still don't know. Obviously there was a single winner, but the person whose place where it was it's out in Los Angeles area. It's Altadena, which is a suburb of Los Angeles, and it was a gentleman who was a Syrian who moved here into the United States in the 1980s and got his citizenship, established a gas station and a small convenience store. He got $1 million for which is fantastic. The state of California, in a single day, because of the Powerball and the amount of money that was spent in California, raked in for the school system $154 million off of that.
Wow.
So, good stories about education making out on the deal. Good story about, nice guy who just lived a good life and hit the millionaire situation because he just happened to sell the right Powerball thing. And then an instant billionaire in California who, if they're smart, will never know who.
Yes, exactly. Don't tell people who you are.
Right. If you have a neighbor out in the Altadena area and they just happen to be moving on up and out, you might ask. But that would be a ticket. It'd be hard for me to literally let go out of my hand, I think, to give to somebody.
That's right.
Tough times. So anyway, well, I'll tell you what. Any final thoughts as we walk our way through here on the last day before?
I might actually get a chance to sit and watch a football game tonight because I don't have anything else. I know streaming, no games for the first time in a while, so maybe be able to actually get a chance to sit and watch a whole game.
Look, there's a game.
I'll probably fall asleep at halftime, but
I'll tell you what, it's quite possible that Carolina, Atlanta, if there's a game that can put you to sleep, that's possibly the game right there.
Yeah.
They're averaging, Prime is averaging between 8 and 9 million streams.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
because they were talking about, some of the TV critics were saying, when Fox had it or CBS had it, they were getting 12 million, of an audience of 12 million. And I'm thinking to them, look, dude, do you really think that Prime bought this 11 years and they're mad because they're only getting 8 million streams for one event? And they're doing some really smart things as well. Prime is also having a live concert after the game, and they're mixing that stuff in. So they're doing some really fun stuff. I saw where Netflix, I don't know if you picked this up, but Netflix is also trying to, get into the sports arena. They've made bids on WTA tennis, which is the women's side of tennis. They've also made overtures to ATP, which is the men's tennis tour. So there's some things there. They're niche at this point. They haven't gone over the top yet, but then there's streaming money out there, and they all are trying to find what am I going to do and how's it going to work? And as we all saw, Apple with the MLS deal is still going to work with ESPN and FS1 on occasion to bring some games back to what might be quote unquote called traditional, just so that they can promote the Apple TV package. So that'll be, they'll probably do that for a couple of years. I doubt seriously that you can spend all that kind of money and then, off sell some of those games. I don't think that's going to happen for, they'll do it for a couple of years, but they're, you don't spend that kind of money for a 10-year deal to give it to somebody else. So I don't think that's going to happen, but
yeah,
interesting to see. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, but we'll have a list of stuff. And by the way, coming up next week, when your stuff hits the newspapers throughout the greater Northwest, Northeast, we'll have the links in the show box so that you can follow all that. And for those of you, now we don't have it down, we don't have the time down in Antarctica, but for those of you watching in Antarctica, we do have the times in that we are live in countries all around the world listed in our show box below. So if you, wherever you are in the world,
is time in Antarctica might be UTC. I don't know.
Well, that's why they're listed as UTC. So, we've got Greenwich Mean Time, and we got it all listed below. And so if you're going to follow us,
it's weird. It says it's 9:50 a.m. on Friday over there, which I don't.
Well, that's funny. That 9:50, that would be.
It's GMT plus 13.
Yeah, it's that would put them behind Australia, and New Zealand.
Antarctica has 10 time zones.
Wow.
It goes from UTC -3 to UTC plus 12. So,
well,
I don't know.
Well, the Penguin Channel over there should be getting a lot of play.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just happy that we. So it's Friday morning already. So happy Friday to you, and we hope that you're enjoying your day.
Joe Mama.
Yeah, gonna be a lot of fun. So anyway, any final thoughts there, Sean, before we let you go to check out what's going on with Manchester United?
No, there's not too much going on there, but hopefully we score a couple goals here. But yeah, just another weekend of some games, and I think I don't have any games, so I may once again I may get a chance to watch a couple games this weekend.
Yeah, there you go.
Running all over the place.
All right, boys and girls, it's been fun for Sean Miller. It's the prodigal Sean himself. I'm Jim Moose saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow, right back here on World Sports Daily. And stay warm in Antarctica, okay?
Stay dry if you're in Carolina.
That's a good one, too. Stay dry. Well, tomorrow we're going to get it, so stay dry here, too.
Yes, that's right.
Maybe, if we're lucky, we'll get some powder puff football here Friday night or Sunday night on the network, okay?
Yes.
Until then, guys, be well. We'll see you tomorrow.